What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Inside Zone and welcome officially to the NFL offseason. I always feel like the offseason really starts that week when you have the combine plus the start of March and March Madness for college basketball. It's like that last big, hurrah before the summer. Then you'll have the draft and then the summer is officially on, unless you're in the soccer this year or anything like that. But listen, I want to talk about something, right? So this year, I followed the Houston Texans a little bit closer than I've ever followed them because they had my favorite player on their team this year, Nick Chubb. And I was interested to see how a team like the Texans would use Nick Chubb coming off of a gruesome knee injury, how he would play. I've watched every game Nick Chubb has ever played, mostly in college. Every play he's played in NFL so far for Cleveland and now with the Texans. And I was curious to see how much they used him. The first signs of worry that I got from Texans fans was during camp when every fan is critical of their team. Just tune in, look at any of my Falcons videos. But during camp, a lot of fans were kind of, upset that Nick Chubb looked slow. He didn't have burst. He looked, slow through the holes. He looked this, he looked that. And the first thing that came to mind for me was, obviously, these guys have never watched a Georgia or a Cleveland Browns game because that's the guy's style, right? He's going to read the hole. He's going to hit it with power, and it's going to be impossible for the other team to bring him down before he gets at least 5 yards. So, look, camp was rough. Fans were critical. Then the season starts, and I'm like, well, look, after that first or second Nick Chubb game where he's grinding out 4, 5, 6 yards a carry, breaks the long one here and there, the fans will kind of get a feel for how this guy runs. The offensive coordinator will get a feel for how this guy runs. Unfortunately, this season, the Texans decided to only give Nick Chubb 8 carries a game, some games less, a lot of games less. And they leaned on Woody Marks, the rookie out of USC, more so than Nick Chubb. Looking at the stats for the year, Nick Chubb still came in back to form, close to what he normally averages, right? 5, 6 yards a carry normally. He was at just under 5 yards a carry. He led the team in rushing touchdowns, and he was just under leading the team in rushes, although he had half the carries as his counterparts on the team. And you ask, why didn't the Texans feed Nick Chubb more? Well, I'll tell you why. One, because they wanted something flashy. They wanted somebody who can catch the ball out of the backfield, and they wanted C.J. Stroud to throw the ball 50 to 60 times a game. Secondly, if Nick Chubb, I was in the sports bar watching that playoff game when the Texans shot themselves in the foot against New England this year. And everybody in the sports bar, there was a couple of Texans fans and a lot of New England Patriots fans, and everybody, to a person, could not understand why they didn't just continue to feed Nick Chubb and just make it ugly. It was already a bad weather game. Just let Nick Chubb run the ball, fall forward for 5 or 6 yards a carry, and win the game. The defense had New England shut down. But they let C.J. Stroud throw the ball 972 times that game for 87 interceptions, and that's what happens. So, look, is Nick Chubb washed up? Absolutely not. What's next for Nick Chubb? I think Nick Chubb needs to come home. Yeah, I'm a homer, but Bijan Robinson needs a number 2. Tyler Algier is going on somewhere to be a number 1 running back, and I think Nick Chubb would fit right at home as a number 2 to Bijan Robinson. I think he can spell Bijan Robinson. I think we can stop using Bijan a lot in between the tackles. Let Bijan do what he does and let Nick Chubb get the dirty yards. Let Nick Chubb bring the games home. Even for the Texans, Nick Chubb's most he got the most yards. He was the most explosive. He got the most out of his talent in the fourth quarter for the Texans this year. Even though they only gave him 8 carries a game, he was the most influential in the fourth quarter. And Nick Chubb is still a closer. So look, let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, share. If you're a Texans fan, look, good luck this year. You guys got David Montgomery. Your offensive coordinator is still the problem. CJ Stroud is not going to flourish under that guy. But let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, share.